Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Today, we're discussing a model launched in late 2018 for the 2019 model year, the first ever automatic watch from Tim and Bart Gronefeld of the Netherlands. This is the Gronefeld 1941 Principia Automatic, 39.5 millimeters in red, not rose, not pink, red gold. The watch measures a verified 10.6 millimeters thick and a delightfully compact 47 millimeters from lug to lug with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Let's throw this watch on the wrist real quick and you can see it is a modern sized men's dress watch, but the 47 millimeter lug to lug span makes this watch viable on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. You can see it easily fits underneath the cuff. It's low lying in its case. Flank is nicely sloped. From overhead, there's plenty of clearance on both sides. I like to tighten this on my wrist severely so you can see how it would sit if clamped down, but there really is a ton of clearance on each side for a smaller wrist here. Taking a look at the hardware and the software, as I like to say, you can see that the software, the strap, is ostrich leather. And you can see where the quills were originally located. It is a light brown. It has a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather and then a monotone stitch. You can see it is a Jean Rousseau Parisian factory strap, or pardon me, Jean Rousseau aftermarket strap of factory quality and brand new, as you can see. Taking a quick look at the buckle, you can see that it has a nice contour and teardrop profile, quite a bit of fluting and undulation. And if you look at the profile of the case, you can see that the buckle nicely matches the shape of the lugs. Taking a quick look at the case flank, you can see it's all of high polish with wonderful recesses inside the lugs. This case construction is sophisticated and the case shape itself is beautiful. You can see there's a lovely step that is sort of like a hollowed concave mirrored surface, and it flows into the bezel where there's a raised plinth, and you can see it at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. The rest of the bezel is a handsome concave profile, much like you'll find on Patek Calatravas to pair the visual mass. The recesses of the case, the angles, the creases, and the curves add to the visual strength of a case that is not overwhelming in size, but formidable in its definition. The crown, as you can see, features the Gronefeld logo, and of course it is conical and knurled. The dial, this is known as the cream lacquered dial. There are several options. This one has a lovely cream color, somewhat like eggnog, and you can see also has a little bit of a rustic surfacing, somewhat like an eggshell. Now there's a sunken sub-register down at 6 o'clock with an orange 60 to remind you that this watch hails from the Low Countries, the Netherlands. The watch uses fired steel hands, so they are fired blue, and then at center you can see they've been black polished along with the cannon pinion itself. They are alpha style hands that are graceful pointed at their ends and pinched at their root. Turning the watch over, and by the way, note the use of a watchmaker's 4 on the dial. Turning the watch over, you can see the caliber Gronefeld 06, the 6th in-house caliber created by the Gronefeld brothers. You can see that there are steel bridges. Now this is the thing, the base plate itself is made of traditional watchmaking brass, but the bridges are made of steel, which is excruciatingly difficult and time-consuming to finish to this level. Let's talk first about basic technology and specs. It's an efficient unidirectional winding system. Unidirectional is more efficient than bidirectional. It's shock tolerant with a full balance bridge and a free sprung index, and it is adjusted in 6 positions, one more than a standard chronometer and one more than a standard high horology watch. So between the 6 position adjustment and the free sprung balance, it is possible to dial this watch in quite well so that it keeps excellent and consistent time in any position. The only feature it doesn't really have is a stop seconds function. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, pivots on 31 jewels. You will note that the pivot jewels are primarily set in golden chaton, a nod to the pocket watch era, and it has a 56-hour automatic winding power reserve. Now you can see that the finish here is remarkably involved. Starting with the rotor, you can see that it's chiseled inboard. It features a satination around its rim and then a mirrored beveling on its edge. Note that it's a 22 karat mass, not the cheapo 21 or 18 carats used by competing brands. Full 22, maximizing the mass. Black polished and satinated center. You can see that all the screw heads are black polished. They also feature chamfered slots and chamfered circumference. Now the chaton holding the pivot jewels are made of gold, as again in the pocket watch era, but there's more. You can see that the bridges bearing them, and there's a lovely train succession leading down from the satinated barrel through the wheels. You've got, of course, a great wheel because it's off center. It's not a center wheel. Then the third wheel, the fourth wheel, and the escape wheel. And you can see that each one of them has a bell gable shape, basically the shape of traditional Dutch home roofing to allow snow to slide off in the winter. You'll also note that the wheels are immaculately finished. They're skeletonized and they're actually finished inboard. Their inner circumference and their spokes have received work, and their surfaces have received satination, so there's no rough machining marks on the wheels themselves. The bridges feature a media blasted center, and then like the rotor, there's a raised ridge around their edge that's satinated, and then the anglage, or the finishing of the individual bridges, mirrored and broad on its sides. Some of the finest anglage you'll see, so broad you don't even need a loop to appreciate it. All of which to say, this is a gorgeous movement. And again, all of that executed on steel. The Audemars Renault et Papy pedigree of Tim and Bart Gronefeld showing through in the beauty of this watch internally. 30 meters water resistant, so it's not an aquatic watch, but then you've got others for that. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.